Extra, extra, read all about me. Front page. This Justin bitch is mad. I must be in my bag. Relaxing as I stare. Plot scheme, then I attack. Ooh, better talk nice if you're talking to me. It's F you, pay me cause I'm something to see. Meditation needed if you're trying to reach this wavelength, this frequency, yeah. If I'm glowing, don't disturb me, please. I'm setting vibes, I'm setting energy. They only mad because they could not reach this. They want it, this drip, babe. They own it, they copy, so corny. They sloppy, but I own it. This song, babe. They own it, this drip,
What's good?
babe.
What's good?
They
What's good,
own
everybody?
it, they copy, so
Red Pierre
corny.
in the building, I
They
see you.
sloppy, cause I talking about my way. I hit them back with the highway. Oh, excuse me, am I late? Don't you know that this my stage?
Just give
I let
everybody
you
a
know that
chance to get
this my
in.
and not devour at the height. I'm a savage, I'm a pirate, a big boss, big magnate. Oh, ain't without the talking, unless we're talking blue face. No Harvey dance, won't catch me by no Tuesday. Heard I act like a man, I shrug my shoulders if I do say I wouldn't be a boss if I'm stumbling off what you say. I know how it darks an alpha woman flexing pussy. Instead of trying to tear me down, celebrate me, hip hip hooray. Really can't ignore me, baby, cause I'm too great. Why they sleeping on me? Price goes up, I'm at a new rate. This sauce, babe, they
They
want
want it.
it. This drip,
Miss
babe,
Cleo
they
said you better talk
own
nice
it.
to me.
They copy, so corny.
What's up, nephew?
They salty, cause I own it. This sauce, babe, they want it. This drip, babe, they own
What's
it.
good, Got 'em
They
Grills? What's good?
copy,
What's
so
good?
What's good? Got him
Hey, make
grills
sure
in the
y'all go
building.
follow my man
cause
Got 'em
I
Grills,
own
man.
it.
Y'all make sure y'all tune in to Got 'em Grills. He got
Yeah.
something going on this year with the Orlando
Yeah.
Magic. Y'all make sure y'all lock in with the homie, man. He's hot right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as once again and again and again, I do not own the rights to this music, but let's get it started.
A good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your radio. There is nothing wrong. We have taken control as to bring you this special show. We will return it to you as soon as you are grooved.
Talk to him about Tim. I shouldn't have left you.
Without a strong rhyme to step to, think of how many weeks shows you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Pops. I just wanted to pop in real quick. Hey, play our words. Pops from Pops Gems. You know, coming up, we got Pops Perspective.
Let's tell you what it is, say you what it ain't. Giving you the real, we'll never do it fake. Life is a gift, but sometimes we need guidance. Pops perspective, always perfect timing. All that alignment, yeah, gon' drop them chills. You know he really him. It's something about his confidence to let you know he hasn't
You
sinned.
don't want to miss. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Pops Perspective, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
A good
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mute your phone, Pierre, for a minute. Mute your phone for a minute. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought it was. All right. 49 more slots to fill for the game on the 28th, Magic versus the Pacers. Pacers. All right, plug it, plug it. I ain't mad at you. Plug it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, it's your boy Pops. This is Pops Gems and Pops Perspective once again, and the post Milton show. Thank God for those of us that, for those of you and everybody in Florida that made it through the thing they call Milton. I know that not everybody got away scot-free. Some people were blessed and some people suffered damage, but nevertheless, we's here. And so we just want to send a special shout out to those people that may have suffered loss. Don't worry about material things. You can get them back. That's nothing, you know, you can always get them back as long as you have your health and your strength and in the right mind. That's you already winning. So we want to say that. As always, we have to give honor to God first and foremost. Without Him, none of this would be possible. So we definitely want to shout God out and make sure that He gets uh, all the glory. And then let me get in here. Well, it's funny coming right off of work, man. You just got a whole bunch of stuff in your mind. You got to shift from one mindset to the other. If you don't believe me, just keep working. Keep doing things after work. All right. Exotic Pops. Shout out to them. Pops and Snacks and Orange Blossom Trail, 4119 South OBT. You got Notorious True and my man Lefty Global. Deshanti's Hair Salon also got a shop out in Mount Dora at that 44 County Road, 19A. And they got a pop, Exotic Pops set up. And then 5311 East Colonial Drive at Poppin' Shakes. So make sure that you go out there and tell them Pop sent you. Hey, play our words. Pop sent you to get a pop. See, from up north, we call them pops. I don't know what y'all call them, sodas and drinks down here, but we call them pops up north. All right. And then, of course, Jay Iris, my son, want to shout him out. I gave him a break today on the tracks. We had a little Miss Cleo Jador talk nice to me. She was in the building, and she blessed us with a song. Lakai Holmes, if you need candles, if you like aromatherapy, definitely. And stay on the lookout. Pop's Gems got another candle coming out. We did Pop's Perspective. I want to do one called Pop's Gems so that it set the ambiance, you know what I'm saying, when you are relaxing and what have you. So I want to send that out. Also mention her. And that's LAKIA Homes. And you can find it at www.lakiahomes.com. Candles for all occasions. And then, of course, to you, all of my fellow gemologists. I don't have followers, I have gemologists. And so we wanted to say thank you. You could have thought it did anything else with your time. And as we was talking last week, and I want to kind of recap, there's two things that you can't get back, and that's time and words. And so for those of you who devoted your time to get on Pop's Gem Show and join us for a conversation, and we appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you, those of you that are tuning in from near and afar. And then, of course, to my special guest host, a good friend of mine. We go back like 8-track, down like 4 flat tires. My man, DJ Zeke, a.k.a. Pierre. I want to welcome him in the building. And he came in to talk tonight about a couple things. And
What's going on?
What's going on? We'll give him a chance to plug himself because he does local DJing too. And what do you say, Juice? You're my favorite local DJ. No. But yeah, he does DJing around the city and abroad. He put together super. Is that me making that noise?
I think it is, Doc. Hey, I'm gonna drop out and come back in because you're breaking up on me. I'm gonna drop out and come back in.
Okay, go ahead. So he put together a special show for the halftime show. That's not me. That wasn't me. Check 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, he put a special show together and called it Road to the Halftime. They got another one coming up, so you want to definitely tune in to him, and I'll give him an opportunity to talk about that because that's actually part of what we're talking about tonight. Okay? And then, no, that's you, Doc.
That's me breaking up now?
Yeah.
Ooh. Hold on.
Put that Android down and pick up that iPhone.
Oh my goodness, here you go. Look at you. I'm telling you.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. It ain't there now.
Okay.
So then, as I do every show, am I my brother's keeper? So we want to, it's just mute yourself till it's time to talk, and then that'll work. Yeah, there we go. Hey, France, Caleb, thank you for tuning in. And as always, as we do every show, am I my brother's keeper? And so I came up with, idea when I put the show together, when God gave me the vision to put the show together, and that was to have Am I My Brother's Keeper, which is basically 10-second positive energy, whatever your higher power is. We just send out positive energy out into the universe. And normally throughout the day, you'll have one person will come across your mind and you'll be like, I wonder what they doing, or I wonder why they popped in my mind. Well, use that as a special intuition message, and let's send them some positive energy. My positive energy I want to send out to all of the people that down south, and the ones that really suffered damage throughout the storm, and lost all their possessions and things of that nature, and have to rebuild. So I want to send them positive energy so they can just stay encouraged and know that you can always replace materialistic things, but your health is more important. So join me, whoever your positive energy person is, send them some positive vibes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now, a couple things. I want to jump into the show, but I want to kind of touch back. Last week we talked about the power of words, and we was talking about how you can use words and you can kill somebody. France said, "Hey cousin, what's buzzing, cousin? Prime time Jay in the building." So we was talking about last week about how you can use words to kill somebody, and never have to lay a hand on them. They call that defamation of character and slander, things of that nature. But I wanted to bring out another point. I don't know if we touched on it real good, but I wanted to say be careful with your words. Choose your words wisely. Let me say it that way, because if you put it in this format, I could cut you with a knife, and you could put a Band-Aid over it, and the cut will heal, but there'll always be a scar. And every time you look at that scar, you're going to think about how you got that cut. And same with words. Words cut. Words can cut into the heart and the soul of an individual. And I'm sorry, or I apologize, is a Band-Aid that will cover that and make it heal. And the initial cut would heal, but there's always a scar. And so you have to be careful what you say to people, because sometimes, not only that, it's the law of reciprocity. Whatever you sow, you're going to reap. You can't just do people any kind of way and expect for that not to come back to you. And so just as a reminder, and kind of tapping back into it, be careful how you choose your words, even in everyday conversation. And we talked about, and then I'm gonna let Pierre jump on it a little bit. We talked about how it just left my mind just that quick. Oh, we talked about how words can be demonstrative, but words can also be uplifting. And so they and it's nothing new. I'm not, Pops ain't inventing nothing new. They cloned the fact of they call it a positive affirmation in the morning, when you tell yourself, hey, I am somebody. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And basically, what you're doing is you're speaking that into the atmosphere. And then the more you speak it, the more you rehearse it, it starts to manifest itself. And I know it's hard to believe in the positive, but we do it every day in the negative. Let somebody come around you talking about they got a headache constantly. I got a headache. I got a headache. I got a headache. I got a headache. Next thing you know, you're gonna be like, you know what? I got a headache, because the power of words, are very forceful, and they can cut, and they can also heal. And that's why when you speak to people, you should speak to them and consider your words, and speak from your from from a third eye point of view. And what I mean by that is, when you say something to somebody, be careful how you say it, how you would receive it. Oh, that's what I was saying. And that's why I hate texting. I hate it with a passion because intention without comprehension does not give revelation. Let me say that again. Intention without comprehension does not give revelation. In other words, you can mean to say one thing, but if it's misconstrued or misinterpreted, then it's going to be a whole different wavelength, right? The book of Luke said, write that down. So it's careful that even when you're texting, that you are somewhat direct and not vague, because too many times people will read a text and misunderstand it. Next thing you know, you got, a whole different thing. It don't have to be negative, So be careful when, all these emojis and acronyms and things of that nature. I'm the old school. We used to write a note. Do you like me? Check yes or no. It was very simple. There was no two ways about it. So, but nevertheless, intention without comprehension does not give revelation. And the people, if you really want to convey your thoughts, because no matter how eloquent you speak or no matter how simplistic your delivery might be, if the message is not comprehended in the way you intended it, then you're fighting an uphill battle. I don't want to say you lost the battle, but you're fighting an uphill battle. And that's why you need to be clear. Let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. I mean, speak boldly and clearly on what it is that you want to say and deliver it with somewhat of a pleasable palate, if you will. And the reason I say that is because many wars were formed out of words, and so we have to be careful how we use those. And that being said, I'm gonna open up. Just if you want to say something, come on, unmute your mic, talk to me. I know you got a couple things you want to share on that note.
What's going on, everybody out there? This your man DJ Zeke, aka Mr. CPZ Entertainment, aka Mr. Road to Halftime. All right. So listen, Pop, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you for this opportunity. Hey, y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow, all of that right now. Share the live. Make sure everybody knows that this is out there right now.
Yes,
The power of words is absolutely everything. That's how entrepreneurs get from concept to actuality. Shout out to my man Achille Apparel out of Miami-Dade County. Black owned business, you know what I'm saying? Support your own. And so a lot of individuals don't understand that if you constantly sit amongst people that have nothing but problems and not solutions, you will never get anything off the ground. As an entrepreneur, when I first got started, I actually wasn't a DJ to completely begin with. My start was actually in dance, based out of Georgia. Shout out to Toshiba Maxey, my old coach. It just really started from there. And one of the main things that she said when she interviewed me was, do you speak affirmations over yourself and over your students? And that led me as a dance coach to start being way more positive, looking at where I can take people mentally and where I could take them physically as well, within their body movement and how they can, make moves and make transitions and things like that. So being an entrepreneur is having words of affirmation, positive feedback. Now there are some reality checks in life, right? You can't live in a fantasy world. So I do want to let people know that if you're starting a business, if you're an entrepreneur, you can't live in a fantasy world. You have to be realistic with yourself, realistic with your goals. It is great to have a dream, but you do need at least one or two people around you that keep you grounded. You don't want to be like the movie Up, from Pixar. Shout out to Pixar. But you don't want to be like Up and just like start floating away, right? It can be dangerous. So I'll be honest with you all, as I begin to do affirmations, as I begin to work as an entrepreneur, as a dance choreographer out of Georgia, I got my start. I actually launched from there down into Florida, and I got my fresh start at the Nickelodeon Hotel. For those that don't know, it was right in the back of Disney. It was some amazing people that really was there. Shout out to John Dovan. John, you're like an angel in disguise, my friend. Like, you looked out when nobody else did. So thank you. I appreciate you for that. But as an entrepreneur, getting into taking my entrepreneur spirit even into a corporate setting, it allowed me to understand execution. And then as I begin to execute from that perspective, I was able to now create what they say, partnerships, relationships that then went outside of my corporate opportunity to now help me lead away, right, from corporate, because corporate is guaranteed money. When you're an entrepreneur, that money ain't always gonna be the same every month. Some days it's great, some days it's not. But what corporate taught me was execution and being able to build relationships properly. And so as I begin to build those relationships, I begin to transition. And as I begin to transition, my next move from there was to then create an entire dance team here in Orlando, and we went on to go do things for the Orlando Magic. And so we're here now, from inception to manifestation, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the power of words, as he spoke on last week. From an entrepreneur's perspective, I believe in that. Affirmations are everything.
It's imperative that and let me back up and say this. You know, I'm a very firm believer in you have to talk to yourself. If in order for you to get what you're desiring, you have to first know what it is that you want to desire, because you're going to emanate that aura about you. I've said many times in past, don't be the thermometer that measures the temperature in the room. Be the thermostat that sets the temperature in the room. And what that means is when you go places, you have to have an assurity. Now, it's not arrogance if you're confident in yourself, because what you're doing is you're fortifying that which you believe in and you're putting it to action, and you have a positive mental outlook that it's going to be successful. Now, let me throw this in there. The only thing that's a failure is when you quit, because as long as you keep getting back up, you have not lost the battle. You may lose a couple, or you haven't lost the war. You may lose a couple battles, but those are lessons in life. And if you study the lesson, then you'll pass the test. Problem is, a lot of people don't want to study the lesson. They just want to take the test, and poor performance. What is it? Proper planning prevents poor performance is
There
the
you go.
5P principle.
There you go.
Proper planning prevents poor performance. So when it comes to developing anything, you must first in your mind sell yourself, for lack of better words. The terminology is you yourself must be convinced that what you're getting ready to embark on can be successful. Now, with intellect and with research, for those of you, it's amazing the way it segued from the power of words into this, because we were supposed to be talking about clown dancing. Let me back up. Let me go all the way back to the back. But the individual that was supposed to come on here to share with us suffered some damages, and they still don't have power. So it was imperative that we change the show. But it was all by divine. It was all by divine intervention, because what we're going to deal with tonight is a segue from the power of words. And the same way you can destroy somebody, you could uplift the thing with the power of words. Now, it's kind of like I said, intention without comprehension. You yourself must be sure of what it is that you're going to present. You must know it in and out, because you're going to be challenged at every level, because there's always going to be some naysayers. There's always going to be some people that they're not so much haters, they just don't see the vision like you see it. They don't understand it the way you see it. So it's not that they're hating, but they're kind of like, and then if you're really out there with something that is not the norm, you're going to get people they're going to start saying, man, you can't do that. And for some people, that serves as motivation. You tell me I can't do something, and I'm gonna put my foot to the wheel and my nose to the grindstone, and I'm gonna do what I got to do to make it happen. Not because I'm trying to prove anybody wrong, but because I feel challenged, and I like taking on a challenge because I know
Absolutely.
that I'm smart enough. You pick your battles. Everything. You don't just jump at everything, but those
Wow.
things in which you feel confident in, never let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Not only
That's
that,
correct.
you have to police your environment. You have to police your ethos. And I'm getting where I'm going. We're talking about from corporate to self-employment, but you have to ethos. You have to police your own atmosphere. And what that means is if you're headed in a direction, you can't allow anything to sidetrack you. Like when they used to have horses and they put what they call binders on the horses so that the horses couldn't see the left or the right. All they could see was what was going before them. When you set off and then you embark on doing your mission, you cannot allow things to sidetrack you. Now, don't confuse that with not being aware of your surroundings, but do not allow your surroundings to chart your course to the extent that it'll get you off track.
That is
Okay.
correct.
So when sometimes you got to do a little left, you got to move a little right, to settle in, but you don't just hear your headstrong on doing something, and then the first joker to come along and tell you no, you're like, all right, I give up, I quit, or they present an obstacle. I don't say problems because everything is a challenge. Okay, if you want to say problems, then the hurdler got a lot of problems. But the hurdler practices when to jump over those problems. The hurdler anticipates those problems. The hurdler trains so that they can be victorious in those problems. So that also goes to say, when you get ready to embark on a mission from corporate to self-employment and you have an idea, do your due diligence, research it, find out exactly what it is that you're going to need to make your end vision come to fruition. When they do a movie in Hollywood, they do the last scene first, and then they build everything else up to the last scene. So they already knew what was going to happen in Star Wars 7 before Luke ever became a Jedi. But they designed it that way so that everything played up to the end. I am your father. All that was designed first, and then they build the rest of the story. And so, like his sister and everybody, and then Han Solo, all that was already was after the fact of the culmination. That's why if you watch highlights of movies sometimes, trailers, you'll see that those key parts after you watch the movie were really the main pieces to the puzzle. Everything else just added to it to make it come to pass. So when you go into do something and you're dealing with entrepreneurship, excuse me, which seems to be a big thing here lately, everybody, especially after COVID, a lot of people said, you know what, I can do this for myself. I can work for myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is, number one, you have to talk to yourself because it's not a tiptoe through the roses or through the tulips. It's rough because you're leaving a corporate structure. Now, I'm going to break it all the way down just to give you something to think about. Under a corporate structure, you don't have excuse me, you don't have to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about lights. You don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to worry about janitorial staff or cleanup, whatever you want to call them. You don't have to worry about permits. You don't have to worry about licensing. When you work for corporate, that's corporate's responsibility. They handle all of that and they employ you. Now, before it's all said and done, remember what Pop said, that you yourself are a business. You're a business. Your talents are your contributions to the job that you seek, and you barter with the company to pay you a certain amount based on what you feel that your talents are worth. So you have a business within yourself. When you go to work for somebody else, you're just not the sole proprietor of that business. You could still have an influence in the business, but after a while, you got to remember not to work for free. And what I mean by that is, if you're doing all the brainstorming, if you're doing all the legwork, the only thing that they're doing is providing a place and resources, then maybe you need to consider, can you do it for yourself? And if you so desire, then like I said, rule number one, talk to yourself. Make up your mind, is this what I want to do? Because there's going to be some long days. There's going to be some longer nights. You know what I'm saying? you are HR. You're the janitor. You're the CEO. You're human resources. You're everything. You hire, fire, interview,
That's it.
clean up.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, Pops, you nailed it. So I'm gonna jump in and talk a little bit, about the process.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't understand it, right? And there's a lot of people on this live right now that may be tuning in. For those who are just now joining us, welcome. You know what I'm saying? It's your man DJ Zeke, aka Mr. CPZ Entertainment, also known as Mr. Road to Halftime. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, the first and foremost thing that you need to do is you need to have a vision. All right. There are many people out here in this world that they all want to do something, right? Whether it's hair, whether it's nails, whether it's entertainment, whether it's shoes or clothing or fashion, develop a vision. And once you get that vision in your head, you want to see where your vision lands in the market. Before you even put pen to paper, before you even get your first clothing line started, before you even build anything, you need to see, where would I land in the market? Would I be in Sephora? Like, how do I compare to everybody else? Like, what am I looking at in a realistic fashion? Because sometimes we as people don't know that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't. We can actually take a really dope idea, intellectual property, ladies and gentlemen, patent that idea and sell the idea to a larger company for a whole lot of money. So, and then they can handle all of it. They can do whatever they want. We made all the money because we brainstormed it, we put it together, we packaged it up. And it's like Amazon, and we just dropped it off at your door in 2 days. So shout out to Amazon right now. That's the first thing. You want a vision. So from your vision, you then want to write out what your mission statement is, what your mission is. So from your vision, like, I want to do an industry, and then you need to figure out what your mission is. Like, what is the purpose of me building or creating this thing? It's the bottom line, right? That's obvious. And so once you get your mission, then the next thing you want to do is go from vision, mission to concept. And I'll give you an example, and then I'm gonna let Pops jump back in here. Clear example was, I have been doing pre-game basketball shows for the Orlando Magic for 3 years solid. 2 years, it was with a dance team out of Full Sail University. Shout out to Intensity Dance right now. For those who are watching, shout out to Full Sail for the creative opportunities. And also, we did it 2 years. We did it 1 year prior to COVID with an entire dance team. Shout out to my Panda family, Coach Tavy. So thank you for that as well. So blessed to be a part of that. And so what the Magic understood was, I had a vision, I had a mission, and then I had a concept. And what the Magic understood was, this boy good. And so they offered me an opportunity following COVID-19 to produce my very first halftime show. Was it expensive? Absolutely. Because I was HR. I was hiring, I was firing, I had to buy clothes, I had to get uniforms, I had to make sure people got tickets, I had to make sure everything was put into place before I got paid. So shout out to my business partner, Gene Culver, for being the strong arm behind that as well. Shout out to my videography family, Kona, Marianne, Royce Reed, all my dancers, the top 6 artists that performed. You all were absolutely amazing. To see a vision like that come into manifestation after me being in entertainment for over 19 years is completely unreal. But that really led me to understand that cutting that corporate string and really moving on your actual vision and mission and concept, it's a lot of work. And it's a lot of moving pieces. There are going to be nights that you don't even want to get out of bed. There's going to be days you ain't trying to move. There's going to be some weekends that you don't even want to go do anything. And yeah, I took some L's. Prime example, one L was during our process of setting up the halftime show. When people were purchasing tickets, the families were purchasing tickets, the Magic told us, hey, y'all need to check your tickets out because y'all have sold 300 more tickets than normal, and we don't know where they came from. We had to actually dig down into and call a list of people that bought tickets. And those tickets were not real. They were falsified tickets. So we had to go in, y'all, And so this is the reality. So this is what Pops is talking about. There are going to be some dark days and bright nights, but I promise you, at the end of the tunnel, you're going to be popping bottles. You'll be celebrating. So, shout out Boss Lady. I see you. Baddies on cam. We need to get y'all back outside. Shout out to Baddies on cam right now. Big ups.
So that being said, one of the things is most important is, like he said, your target audience. Who is it? What is it? What are you trying to do? Who are you presenting it for? And what are you trying to get out of it? What's your outcome? The average businessman would create a need and have the answer to fill that need. For example, if it's hot outside and you got people standing in line to go into an entertainment, and you got an ice cooler with wheels, and you figure they thirsty because you thirsty, and you go get you a 24-pack of water, put some ice on it, you've created a need that you can fill with the thirsty people. You have an audience. So do your due diligence, and when you go to prepare what it is, whatever comes into your mind, study it. And if it's already in process, that's fine, because I've said this before. You can get 3 people and give them each a pound of hamburger meat and tell them to make spaghetti. They all gonna come back with their own rendition, but it's still hamburger meat. So just because somebody's done something doesn't mean that they have the patent on it, 100% type scenario on an idea. You can glean from that. And that also moves to the next point, is you want to surround yourself by people that are successful in doing what you're trying to do. Why? Because you can glean from that. It's not that you're stealing their ideas, because you're going to put your own twist on it, but you can see the process. You can see what it takes. If you want to have a mobile car washing business, mobile detail business, then you see the man with the van and the 50, 60-gallon water jug inside, and he got the generator for the power washer, and you see, and you start counting up the cost, because everything is going to cost. Remember, now you're not corporate now. So the paper envelopes and all the trash bags and all of that stuff is now coming out of your pocket. So you have to watch your overhead so that you don't go upside down. And what they mean by that is you're spending more than you're making. You're putting out more than you're making. And so you got a good name, but you're not profiting. And hopefully everybody that gets into business for themselves, they want to do it to be profitable. So surround yourself by people that are doing a similarity or are successful in what you're embarking on doing, and glean from them, study them. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, as we said, but you can watch that wheel roll down and say, oh, okay, every time it makes that turn, it hits that little crack, so I know to fix that. See what I'm saying? So you're capitalizing on somebody that is already doing it. Now, you're not stealing ideas, don't get me wrong, but you're surrounding yourself. It's just like they say, if you want to be a millionaire, then act like a millionaire. And let me put it a little closer. For you ladies aspiring to be married that are in the chat that are not married, or men, act like it. Carry yourself as if you are or were. Then you'll attract that what you're looking for. You can't expect, you act one way and you're trying to attract somebody else. If you want to be married and you're a female, you can't be out there with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, because that's not becoming of a wife. You have to carry yourself as for what you want to be found as. In other words, you got to play your role and know your position.
So all I'm gonna say is this: that's coming. Listen, Pop. You touching on something right now, ladies and gentlemen. We gonna get to that. I promise. We got something cooking. Trust me. I'm gonna be back with something else. Y'all just wait on that. So listen, y'all. And Pops is absolutely correct. Centering yourself around people that are going in the same direction. So I'm going to give everybody a very basic scenario. It's called the path. So the path that everybody's on goes to the castle. We all want to own our own castle. We all want our own kingdom. Now, on either side of the path, ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know it's the woods, right? And the woods are distractions. It could be money, fame, women, men, cars, clothes, any of that stuff. If you're an entrepreneur, you almost have to have blinders on, because there's so many distractions on the outside of you heading to the castle. it'll stop you at any given time. So make sure that you're surrounded. Ladies, if you have a sisterhood that can hold you accountable, that can support you, do that. Brothers, if you got a brotherhood, the brotherhood is unmatched. Shout out to all my brothers out there that understand what I'm talking about. But the brotherhood is unmatched. Get you a band of brothers that can hold you accountable, that support what you're doing, are realistic about what the agenda is, and are serious about helping you push the narrative. Shout out to my good brother DJ AT. He started a fashion line here locally called Energy, and it launched about 3 years ago, and it just took off. And so shout out to DJ AT for really putting that together. And I knew that, and you could tell from concept, from inception, concept, and from how he manifested all of it. There was a lot of labor of love inside of that. So at the end of the day, anyone that is moving towards the castle, as I like to call it, even in the game of Mario, y'all know in the game of Mario, you run through the level and you have different things that you have to achieve, and you get power-ups, you get extra lives, you get support system, you get on fire, you get the gold star, you get a whole bunch of things, but those are all things leading you to what? The end, which is the castle. So, keep that in mind as you all are building your team and getting around other people that you're building with and that want to see this vision come into manifestation. And that's what I had to do as well for the road to halftime.
All right. And then another factor that you want to consider, and let me stay with corporate. There's nothing wrong with corporations. I mean, in essence, they're just bigger small businesses, if you will, and there's a lot to learn from them because, at the corporation, there's always that one person that's brainstorming, and that suggests to the higher ups, and so that being said, know where your strengths are. If you have an individual that's strong in an area, put your aces in places and utilize them so that you can get full production, if you will. And don't be afraid to put in work. I'm going to tell you this now. Anytime you want to start a business on your own, be prepared for some long nights, some hungry days, because everything you get, and again, I keep coming into other areas, but everything that you get has to go back into the business. So first and foremost, they say that 20% of businesses fail in the first year, 30% in the second year,
Come on.
50% in 5 years,
Come on.
and in 10 years, 70% of startup businesses fail. So only 30% are being successful. So that means that this is not for the weak-hearted. You have to have longevity. You can't, ain't no giving up, if you will. You have to keep pressing. You have to keep pressing, even when the pressing seems impossible. And I know that I use movies, but The Pursuit of Happiness. That man was determined. He was determined to do what he needed to do, and he knew what it took to get there. And he capitalized on it. The one part I want to bring out about the movie was when he had to dial the numbers, and you and I both worked in a call center, just to speed up time, he wouldn't hang up the receiver. He would just hold it in his hand and dial the next number that would save him from putting the receiver down and picking it back up. So when you're around these corporations, glean from them and take from them what you can to better your idea. And don't ever think that your idea is too small. It might be small to some, okay, but somebody invented the tips on shoelaces and made a gazillion, just the little plastic tips, as simple as it would be.
Come on,
and made, because it was just, it came up with that idea, the can opener, all these different inventions that somebody thought about. Now, also, you have to target your audience. That's going to bring you the most return on your investment. In other words, find a need, fill the need. You're not going to take, ice to an Eskimo. That's not going to work.
True.
Unless you got a real good talk game. But for the most part, I tell them, look, you ain't got a refrigerator. You don't need a refrigerator. You live in an igloo. They're not going to melt. Come on, it's special. But
absolutely. But Pops, you're absolutely correct. So I'll jump in, and I'll give some insight as well. Shout out to my man Vic Money, the Truth. What's going on, man? So when we're talking about target audience, ladies and gentlemen, what you want to be able to do within your first 3 years, the first year you need a signature. Okay, so whatever that is, whether you're a mixologist and you mix drinks, you need a signature drink that you know that you can kill every time, and it's yours, and you know you can make it. If you are a barber, there's a signature hairstyle that you always cut. When people come into your barbershop, they be like, "Yo, give me that Pablo," you know what I'm saying? And it smacks every time. It's the same thing with t-shirts, with clothing, with fashion, with music. There is a signature that you must have. So your first year, you want to develop your style, your signature. Your second year, you start collaborating. Collaborations are key. So what people don't know is that there are too many DJs in this city. There are too many promoters in this city that have access and influence. So if you create fashion, you ought to make sure every DJ got on something fresh to death. They should never have to go to the store to buy anything. We ought to be wearing the latest and the greatest of everything. And so shout out to Achille Apparel out of Miami-Dade. He always makes sure I'm fitted up. I'm always in the club with at least something on from the line out of Miami. So shout out to the homie for that. Randy, you do an amazing job. Keep rocking. So for those that don't know, it's Achille. It sounds like Achilles heel. So y'all look that up, Achille Apparel. It's great. DJ AT is the same way. So I usually rock my energy t-shirt, Cancer Energy. So I was born in July. I rock my energy t-shirt typically around the entire month of July. I wear it to every party, every DJ spot I'm at. So it's about collaborating. So that's your second year. Your third year, you want to start looking at expansion. And expansion doesn't mean taking over the entire world. It means that you're taking over your state, or you're taking over your city, or you're taking over the region. So as you begin to branch out slowly but surely, those collaborations will keep growing. So those are some key points that you all want to be able to walk away with. First year, your signature. Second year, start collaborating. DJs, promoters, influencers, models. Shout out to Baddies on Cam. Any female designers out there that y'all doing anything, bags, shoes, all of that. Y'all need to lock in with models everywhere. Period. They should
Old
never
school
have to
said
go
making a name for yourself.
Yeah, they should never have to go shop for nothing when you're collaborating. Third year, you start looking at expansion. And expansion is citywide, region, and your state. So that's what that looks like. So, tap in with that, y'all. Those are some key gems right there. That's something that I've been very fortunate on this side to do. Currently right now, I'm actually headed to Charlotte in a couple weeks. The Charlotte Hornets have booked the halftime show. For Road to Halftime. So, we got to jump on a plane, go to Charlotte, North Carolina real quick, and do some work out there. And, of course, we're going to do some back here, back at home. So don't worry. We got y'all. We're going to lock y'all down too. And we got some other stuff cooking. So y'all stay tuned. This halftime thing really just started off as a great concept, a great idea to highlight local artists. And we're turning this thing into something nationwide. Florida's on the map, y'all.
Yes, sir.
We outside.
And that being said, you got to persevere. A lot of these things that we see nowadays, we don't know the behind the scenes work. Excuse me. We don't know the behind the scenes work that went into putting this in. I mean, like Pierre, I don't know if y'all was listening. He said 19 years. You got to understand that, competition is going to be rough, but that's fine. Competition is okay. But if your mindset is not in this to like Pierre said, I know about Pierre, I'm calling Pierre, y'all let's just pop. But like he said, you got to be thinking to grow, because you don't want to get anything and be stagnant. You don't want to get into something and be, you got to think of, like they say, the George Jefferson of the neighborhood. You don't want just one cleaners. You want a chain of cleaners, but you got to start with the one. Perfect the one and then clone it. Don't change nothing. How you think McDonald's and when he was talking about collaborations, McDonald's, Wendy's, all these stores. And a matter of fact, if you ask a woman, hey, you want a purse? What kind of purse? Oh, I got a Gucci bag. Whoa, Gucci. Why? Because Gucci made a name. They made a brand for themselves that held a certain status quo. Now watch this. Also, and this just pops in your first on start. Don't be afraid to give away stuff. Don't be afraid to let people sample stuff because they don't know your product. Okay, and I'm not saying give away the whole farm, but what I'm saying is allow them to get a taste, and just a small enough taste. Here's my case in point. It's a marketing strategy that they use it in every mall across America. Walk into the food court, and what's the first thing that you see? You got some girl or some guy with a tray with them little souffle cups with a sample in there, and they're saying, "Oh, this is the teriyaki, chicken teriyaki. Oh, this is this, that, and other," and you taste it. That sample, people say you're giving away food, but what is going to promote? Number one, you're giving them your product for free, but they're getting a chance to sample it and taste it. Now, out of 5 people, if you can convert one, you batting 1,000. If one person say, "Oh, wait a minute, how much is? Let me get a plate of that to go. Let me get." See, so you have to spend, and like they say, you have to spend money to make money. So don't be afraid to give away so that you could brand yourself and get into a notarized, a place of notoriety where your name now becomes a household word. They might know him as Pierre, that guy that dances and DJs. But after a while, no, that's DJ Z. You're going to be a Juicy Crab, Spicy Crab. We need to go every Saturday night. That's the place to be. And because why? Because he put in the work and branded. And then that's going to bring you more people. And then you got to watch those people because those are your number one supporters. That's a great portion of your foundation. And I'm not saying that you want to cater to them, but you want to give them, you have to have, like he said, every DJ ought to be dressed in fly clothes. So if you know that you want to get out sunglasses, you're not going to go to the movies to sell them. You're going to go to the park where they need the sunglasses. And you're going to go where, again, the demand is. And then you're going to keep going to where pretty soon, every time somebody turn around, they see your brand on their face. Reborn
That's
outside. I'm glad you joined. And there's a lot of us in here, and I'm going to give it to you in a minute, but there's a lot of people in the chat that, you started your own apparel, your own clothing line. And that's wonderful. Okay, and it's awesome. But again, you have to sow into yourself to get a return investment strategy. Yes, sir. Talk to him, Pierre.
Absolutely. So I will say this, and this is something that's going to be probably one of the most, and the best way to say it, this is the most strategic thing that you could possibly do. Document everything. I don't care what it is. I mean, document everything. And I mean, if you got to pull out your phone, record it, do like a voice note, whatever it is, record everything. And so as you're building your business and as you are doing and moving as an entrepreneur, you want to create what they call reels, documentary reels, like behind the scenes. Show people where this inspiration comes from. I'll actually give a prime example. For those who grew up in the 90s, we all knew about FUBU, but FUBU actually had a behind the scenes to it. And when Damon was starting that brand, Damon showed us the behind the scenes before FUBU even became FUBU. He showed us kind of like the product and how it's worn and where it's worn at and who would wear it, the target audience. And then all of a sudden, LL messed around and wore it on a Gap commercial. And it went viral after that. That's before viral was a thing. So I want to let y'all know that you want to document everything, create video, create content. And don't create useless content, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't be creating content for the sake of it. It has to be meaningful and purposeful. A lot of people just be on social media creating content just to, be the next Sally Jesse Raphael or the next Montel Jordan, asking questions and not really asking anything serious. Be intentional about your posting. This is the internet, y'all. This will last forever. This is a capsule that never goes away.
And I need y'all to understand. While you're right there, let me just tag in. You don't know who's watching. See, there's been many times that I've spoken in mass audiences, and you never know the impact. We talked about the power of words. We want to talk about the impact that a water drop makes. If you take a bowl of water and you drop a marble in there, it's going to make an initial impact, but then it's going to have a ripple effect. So you don't know how far, you're at an event and you don't think, I wasn't that successful, but all of a sudden somebody comes up and they ask me, hey man, I seen you when you was over there, da 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 da. So never sell yourself short. As long as at the end of the day you feel you put forth 150% effort and you've left everything on the table, then you got to let your work work. You got to let your work work. You have to be confident in your plan, even though you don't see it. That's why it's called a vision. I know it don't make no sense, but if we could see it, if it was that easy, then everybody would be doing it. A vision comes into mind, and then you write it on paper. Now, when you're putting it on paper, that's a confirmation with yourself. You're actually making a contract. This is what I plan on doing it. So then you got to say, okay, I'm going to do this so that, I want to get so-and-so. And please, ma'am, please, sir, there's no big eyes and no little U's. Never be afraid to approach anybody. I'm going to give you a short story. I was in El Paso, Texas, and I was working at a Jack in the Box right next to a used car dealership. And, every day I'd be looking out the drive-through window when it was slow, and I'd see the salesman running around, and, people come looking for cars, and they trying to find the car, the keys, this and the other. And, I said to myself, you know what? There's money to be made there. So I went to the used car salesman manager, and I told him, I said, listen, I will wash every car and take them, because the gas station was like a block away, 7-Eleven right around the corner. I said, and I'll make sure they all have at least a quarter tank of gas every morning before I go to work. And he said, well, what are you going to charge me? I said, I'm going to charge you $1 a car. And he looked at me like, you crazy. But see, I wasn't looking at the dollar. I was looking at the longevity. So after a while, this family came on, and they said that they were looking for a specific car. And the salesman didn't know where to send them. But because I did it every day, because I knew which cars had what, I was able to tell them, no, that one is automatic. It got air conditioning, and it's perfect for what they're looking for, and it's within their budget. The salesman looked at me like, yeah, but the sales manager overheard. And he called me into the office and said, hey, come here. He goes, these cars pretty good. I said, yeah. I deal with them every day. He said, how much are they paying you at Jack in the Box? And I was the shift manager. I told him, blah, blah, blah. He goes, how about we hire you full time to be what they now call a lot attendant? And I was like, okay. He goes, well, we got to go talk to the boss first. This was the owner of the dealership. Now, most people would have been squeamish. I went right in there, just as dirty from cleaning up cars. And I told him, look, this is what I want to do. And I want to maintain this, that, and the other. Long story short, my idea and persistence and giving it, so to speak, giving it away to prove that it was a proven method turned out to be a permanent position. And then from there, they not only did they hire me, but they wanted me to train somebody because they seen salesmanship in me because I took interest in the vehicles. I knew the product and I knew the supply and demand. So don't ever sell yourself short. Don't despise small beginnings, as they say. Know your product. Know what it is that you want to do. And don't be afraid to present it to anybody because you never know who's who. Like, we're doing this podcast. And I told them, I said, oh, they said, what do you want to get out of the podcast? I said, somebody's going to see me one day and tell me to come do their talk show. Oh, man, you crazy. I might be crazy, but when you see me on TV, I'll be crazier. You have to, and look, I put into it, and Pierre's been following me. I do the backdrops. I got the system. I went and got the lights. I started out with a candle. And for those of you that don't have them, get your Pops Gems pins. Let me plug my Pops Gems pins. Those are still available. And I did that because when people look at that, they remember the show. We're now on YouTube at Pops Gems on YouTube. You can go back and watch all the episodes. And it's there. It's a wealth of information and conversation that will help you in any specific area because it's not mine to take with me. It was given to me so that I can share it with somebody else. Cozy Lifestyle, I'm glad you're in the building. If you want to chime in, let me know. So when you're developing your business, don't be afraid to sow into it. Don't be afraid to start small and prove yourself so that when you take the next step, now they're listening. When you first got in the door, they was like, we'll take a chance on you. But once you've proven yourself, now you're in high demand. And trust me, when you get the eyes and ears of the higher ups, it's not going to be small scale like you think. They're going to want to say, not only here, but we got 10 car lots. We need you to go and train all 10. Now, see how your little idea, and everybody laughed because you was washing the cars for $1 per car, has now put you in a position where you're telling other people what to do. And I know that's still working for somebody, but it was an ideology that I had. I used what they had, what they needed, and I felt that need. So when it comes to business, you have to say, okay, what is it that I'm trying to do? And it's going to be a rough road because you don't want swelling. You don't want to blow up overnight. You get hit on the head and you can get a knot in your head. That's a swelling. That's going to go back down. You want growth. You get growth on your head, it's going to stay there. You see what I'm saying? So like Denzel said, and don't confuse progress with movement.
Come on now.
You can stand in place and move. You ain't going nowhere. Chart your progress by how you accomplish. You have to set a goal for yourself every day. Every day. And you got a daily goal, a weekly goal, a monthly goal, a yearly goal, a quarterly goal. And then what you do is you set those out and you just start crossing them out. And if you don't succeed in that, so that's okay. I'm going to come back at that again tomorrow. And you hit it till you can't hit it, then you go work on something else. But what you're doing is you're knocking down the wall, and you're using that wall, the bricks of the wall, to build a staircase.
Absolutely. And Pops, I'm gonna share this, and then I'm gonna let you have your final words. So I know you can end it out.
Get out of here.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, just as he said, an idea that you have so small can become something so big. So continue to keep working at it. There are thousands of people that have dreams every day. My number one thing is I've always looked for people that dream big. And I'll share with you this. I motivate all my brothers in my brotherhood to go after their dreams. Not only just for their sake, but I'm going to be honest, I'm a little selfish. If I can get you to go be a football player, I'm on the 50-yard line because I'm your day one. And I've been there. If I can get you to go be an actor or an actress, I'm going to be on the red carpet. Why? Because I've been there since day one. So it's also a situation where you want to see them succeed, but when they succeed, you succeed. And that's the reality. My motivation is watching other people succeed, because when I have a crazy idea, I need my day ones and my brotherhood to be with me. And they be like, yeah, Pierre, you told me about going to play football, but I don't know, bro. You ain't really pushed me. So I don't know if I want to, So yeah, make sure you all are pushing each other, motivating each other, speak life into each other, look after each other, love one another, hug each other. The days are short, y'all. Days are short. And so I say this in love and in light. Continue to be the light of your own path as well. Everybody has to get to their own castle at some point. Don't get distracted by the woods and the forest, because I promise you, when you get to the castle, you want to know what's crazy about being there? You own the castle, the walls, the guards, the gates, and you own the woods that you just walked through. So, just to give y'all a heads up, stay focused and get to the castle. I'm going to let Pops end this out. Y'all be good.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me say this. You have to go through the darkness of the tunnel to get to the light that's at the end. But in darkness, a lot of things grow. Back in the day, they used to have a camera, and you would take the pictures, and then you would take that roll of film, and you would develop it in a dark room. The Polaroids were taken, and at first the picture looked dark, but the more you shook it, the more things began to materialize. Mushrooms grow in the dark. You see what I'm saying? A lot of things are in the dark. And the only thing that you have to be afraid of in the dark is, well, there's nothing to be afraid of in the dark, because once you turn on the light, everything that's there. So don't let your lack of knowledge of what's in the dark prevent you from going in there. Okay? You have to go through that dark period of growth. Don't get discouraged. There's going to be some setbacks. That's when you go back to the drawing board. Don't get to the point where you feel that, you're giving up. And the way you keep that energy going is, like Pierre said, you surround yourself by like-minded people. You don't want somebody telling you what you can't do. You want somebody saying, if they can't, what is my favorite saying? If you're not part of the solution, don't be part of the problem. So if you're not helping me get where I'm going, excuse me, step to the side. Let me do what I got to do, because I'm on a mission. And if I fall on my face, it's okay. I'm like a weeble. Weebles wobble, but we don't fall down. I'm going to get back up and I'm gonna keep on going. And the reason why I'm going to keep on going is because I know that it's not going to happen overnight. This podcast, you would have told me a year ago I'd be on a year. This is the second show of a year. The second year. This is episode 2 of season 1. I mean, season 2, episode 2 of season 2. And we've just begun. I mean, there's so many ideas that I have for this, and I'm still dealing on ideas that I wrote down for the topics. But I surrounded myself by people that were successful in what I wanted to do, and then I made my niche in it. Pops Gems is going to be a trademark. Pops Gems is going to be a household word. People, and I say this just to show you some of the fruits. I've had people call me and say, man, I just want to talk to you about the topic of the show. I know we ran out of time, but I'm going through this, that, and the other, or this and this happened. And so to me, that means that, like I told you, one person is listening. So never be afraid. Sell yourself. The biggest killer of that fear is sell yourself. You have to be 100% sure. You have to be 100% convinced that what you're going to do is going to be successful. And if you do not succeed at first, what they say, try again. I know he left. Zeke, thank you so much. Cozy Lifestyles, I'm glad you're in the building. I wish you could have come on, but that's we link like that. For those of you that joined, thank you so much. I don't try to push my shows too long. I give you like that food court sample. If you like the show, follow and share and hit like. If you don't like what I said, then tune in again next week. I'll say something else. But nevertheless, I want you to be attentive on Tuesday night at 8:30. Blunts and Bonnets has their show. You can follow them on Instagram. Shout out to the B&B crew. Also, on Thursdays, I believe it's Thursday, they keep chitter-chattering between Wednesday and Thursday, Cozy Lifestyle. Now, you talking about some knowledge. Boy, look at here. Entrepreneurs, it's almost a must-have. It's almost a must-have. You ever seen something come out and say, ooh, I got to get me one of them? You need to tap into Cozy Lifestyle. Follow them on Instagram. Get to know what's going on. There's a lot of shows that they have on there. And then follow them. They do private Zooms for entrepreneurs, and it's the holy grail of entrepreneurship, if you ask me, because what they show in there is also applicable to your own life. To all of you wanting to start a business, remember that you are your own commodity. You're your own business. Believe in yourself. Invest in yourself. Have confidence in what you do, and what you do well. Keep doing that. The sky is beyond limit. Okay, don't ever don't cap. Which I'll say, no cap. Don't put no caps on yourself. Go as far as you can go. If you want to see the first episodes of Pops Gems, I'm on YouTube and it's at Pops Gems, no underscore there. I'm on here every Monday night at 8 o'clock. Next week we're going back to Crumpville. I have one of the top crumpers that's going to come on, and we're going to talk about crumping. He was on the show before, but it's a dance style. For those of you that are interested in that or hearing that, tune in next week. And like I said, love on somebody, share it with somebody. If you don't like what I said, come back next week. We'll say something else. And if you missed any portion of this, I do post it back on Instagram because I'm still loading the shows from last year. But thank you so much, each and every one of you. Don't forget, Monday nights, 8 p.m. Don't meet me there, beat me there. We on YouTube. And love on yourself. Love on somebody. Life is too short. It's too much. I ain't got room for the drama. It's too short. You don't know. You could be out of here tomorrow. So live each day to the fullest. Dream, reach for your stars, do what you're going to do because you are the only one standing in your way. This your boy Pops from Pops Gems and Pops Perspective. Until next week, peace.